How the hell did you get in the film industry? What happened? Someone saw your super cool moves and said, "Hey, you could do that on the screen."
It was actually the first job I ever did was the Elvis Presley versus JXL music video.
Oh, okay.
There was a music video that came out at the turn of the century by a group called JXL, and they basically did a remix of Elvis Presley's "A Little Less Conversation, A Little More Action." And I was in London training at the time, had no ambition to work in the film industry at all.
How long ago was that?
22 years ago.
Oh, jeez.
So
old.
I was, yeah, man, I was like 19 or 18 or something. I can't remember. And
I'm saying you're old. I'm only 3 years younger than you.
You're not that much younger. Stop pretending. And my friends who I was training with at the time were going to this audition. And they said, "Oh, do you want to come along?" I was like, yeah, I'll come along. Not really knowing what I was going for. I just knew that they were doing an audition for something. I'd already done a couple of like live performances with the team, but certainly nothing in front of the camera.
Because Wushu is notorious for doing a lot of performances.
Yes.
I mean, I know Kung Fu. You probably know Yusuf Chandri. Yeah, so he's one of the stunt guys, and we got on register 6 years ago together. And whenever he wouldn't do stunts, he would be doing some performances.
Yeah.
So they do all the performance with the
lion dance.
the line dance and that stuff. Does Wushu have as well line dance?
Well, lion dance is actually more traditional kung fu.
Oh, okay.
And some Wushu practitioners that do traditional kung fu have also done lion dance as well. So there are tie-ins, there are connections with that. Generally, though, most mainstream Wushu guys just do Wushu. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I went to this audition. Had no idea what the audition was for. Just went into the room, signed my name on that bit of paper, and jumped around and just did some stuff.
You did not turn your phone off.
I put it on silent.
Oh my god!
It's a London number, so it must be important.
He just lost the big job.
That's it. Yeah. We were going to hire you, but you ignored us. So. And yeah, so I did this audition. Got a phone call later that day saying, "Yeah, you've got the job." And I was like, "What job?" And they said the Elvis video, and I was like, "Oh right, okay, cool, whatever that means." The following week, I turned up to this location outside. It was just like this box. And that's it. I got paid 250 quid for doing a bit of Wushu in front of the camera, and I was like, wow.
Oh my god.
Money for Wushu, this is good.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I was like, how do I do this again?
Yeah.
And then over the time, obviously, music videos, TV commercials, idents, live shows, Chinese acrobats, short films, independent films, feature films, they just grow. And obviously, the more I learnt, the more I could get into other aspects.
How much work did you lose or didn't get because you don't look Asian enough?
A lot. You would not believe the amount of jobs.
Look at this guy, blonde, looks like Daniel Craig pretty much. Like you can do Bond. Wow. But
so yeah, I lost a lot of. Say lost.
Didn't get it.
Performance-wise, no problem. Look-wise, a big problem. The amount of auditions I did, and they were like, "Steve, we love what you do. You're just not Asian enough." And I was like, right, okay, fair enough. And I would always then see that job, maybe a TV commercial or a bit in a film, and it would be an Asian guy doing it. And I'd be like, okay, well, fair enough. That has always been the stereotype, and I've come to accept that. And it's not often, actually, that I do Wushu for film or TV, because by and large, they don't want to see a blonde white guy doing Chinese martial arts. They want to see the Asian guy. It's
the same.
It's just the way it is, unfortunately. And
I'm welcome to the club with me. Same thing. I mean, I always get cast as a Russian baddie.
Yes, of course.
That's pretty much it.
And got the perfect accent and the look and everything.
Yeah, baby. And then the funny thing as well, I did for 2 years. I thought, I did kung fu and all these weapons and XMA and all that stuff. And then I was like, but I'm never gonna get hired in that area. And then that never happened. But in the same time, I'm so glad that I actually did tip my toe in it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. And now you've been doing films and for how long? How long has it been?
I think the first feature film I did was 2011. And then it would come in waves. Sometimes there'll be a few at a time, and then it might be a year or 2 or 3 years before a job. but also because at different times I prioritize Wushu competition. I have to look like a year or so ahead and say, right, I really want to focus on that competition, and it takes the whole year to train for that competition. You have to do pre-season, off-season, and competition season training. Put on weight to build up strength, lose the weight to get faster and more flexible. So it's a big long program to get to a high standard at international competition. And if I choose to do that, I actually put off doing any other type of work unless it's a very short contract. Because you know what it's like sometimes on movies, you can be contracted for months. And if you do that, that is your life. You don't really have time to train like a proper athlete. So it's,
and especially on the films, you know, don't get proper sleep, don't get proper food, and it is it can be hectic, and don't have time to train.
That's
which
right.
is one of the biggest ones. And now you've been quite busy. Probably projects we're not allowed to talk about, are we?
Not just yet, no.
Probably, yeah,
maybe when we get to your 50th podcast, we can have a bit more of a chat about it.
There you go. But still, you are, well, one thing we can tell, it's you quite involved in coaching other people.
Yeah.
How do you find that?
I actually enjoy it. It's very good. I've always chosen not to be a coach, although over the years I have coached at random times. And I've started to do a bit more coaching of actors and other stunt guys in martial arts and Wushu in general. And it is very rewarding watching some of these guys going from beginner or basic level and picking up these skills in a matter of weeks and then applying it in a fight choreography situation. It's very, very satisfying to see them do that. And
how weird was it for you to move from doing Wushu performances and stuff? Because you guys, did you do any fights on the show? You would do fights on the show, like on the stage fights, right?
Yeah.
But they would be so different from the stunt fight.
Very different, yeah.
Yeah, so how to sell the punches and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Live performance fights, choreographed fights, are very theatrical.
Yeah. And also over the top.
They have
very
to be
exaggerated because, like, people in the row in the back, they're not going to see it.
Correct.
Obviously.
That's right. And even in Wushu competition, you have team events, and the team events are where you do choreographed fights, and they're quite amazing to watch, but they are also very theatrical. They're very over the top. If you type in Wushu Dualian, which is DUI. Lian.
There you go.
Yeah. So this is the 2015 World Championships, and this was one of the best fight routines I've ever seen.
I thought there's going to be that girl. There's with the girls as well. And
that was the same competition.
When they stab and they just go under that.
And this is also the same routine, but with the guys.
Oh, okay.
So I watched this live at the World Championships, and yes, you can argue
that is so fast.
It looks nothing like fighting, but it's very theatrical.
Yeah, but try to just do that. Like, look at just how many moves in that one. It's insane.
Watching these guys train is very, very good.
That's
so
incredible.
when they do in the training, when they do this spear action, they actually practice it on a mannequin, on a dummy.
Oh,
and it's basically sat on the floor, and they're just for ages just stabbing away at it, trying to not hit it.
Have you heard any accidents like this?
I've never seen any, but I'm sure it probably exists quite a lot.
For someone who is just an average Joe, I don't know, a plumber.
Yeah.
Why I don't know why I took plumbers. Let's do the tax man comes home, has a beer, sits down on the couch, and then sees this. They'll be like, "What the hell is this?" Yeah, the speed and the agility to these guys is kicking a butt. I like that. Bush.
But yeah, this is very different from anything that you would do in a movie.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you can do that, for you to adjust to do stuff in the movies, well, it takes a little bit.
You still have to train for
you
fighting,
do have to train, obviously, but
you do have the physical ability.
Crazy advantage.
Yeah.